Dr. Kim Lannon, and I am here with Lou. And if you're watching, you can see my lovely friend Dave Russo is joining us today, the comedian, the all-star, the extraordinaire. I won't talk about Lou's attitude this morning. We'll just, pick on him the whole time.
I'm highly stressed. So.
I know.
Yeah.
He's highly stressed, but I was highly stressed this morning. You know why? Because I have 8 construction people at my house 2 weeks before Christmas.
And you think your attitude is perfect?
Oh, Dave, do you hear the crap I'm getting this morning?
All I know is it's the morning, and you have to start off like a champion over my shoulder right here, like the great one. You got to start. You got to be a great one every day.
I know.
So
I'm being a great one today. We're lucky we have sound. Dave hasn't probably seen the podcast in a few weeks. We had 7 weeks of problematic behaviors with our linking system, so we have sound today. So
yes, but you want to know the good news? It made me happy.
What?
This StreamYard actually acknowledged it publicly today.
Oh, well, that's good.
Means it wasn't in this room.
So
makes me
good.
happy, I guess.
Well, good morning. So everyone, we're going to jump right in this morning because we have Dave Russo here. Dave is, good morning, Alicia. We have Dave Russo here. He's I consider him a super famous comedian in my world, and I love him. And he's a philanthropist and a humanitarian first and foremost, which I love about him. And he's joining us today because we're going to he was with us, a year ago? 8 months ago, maybe? And we're going to do some follow-up today and talk about the things that are going on and promoting some of his cool new stuff that's coming up. Plus, he's going to be doing something for me coming up too in February for the marathon. And but I thought it would be great to have him come on and we'll talk about, Christmas cheer and have him make us, feel good about all the things that are good in the world.
well, there's a lot. There's half the world thinks things are great right now in America, and half of America, is not trying to be the great one right here every day. So
no waiting. So that's a good question to start right away. I was thinking about this coming in. So Dave, how do you handle let's talk about your comedian stuff first. How do you handle doing material about sensitive and controversial stuff without stepping on people's toes, knowing that there's a split, and it's not new, but how do you write your jokes around that?
Well, you got to go in there. You got to go in there knowing that, you're there to entertain. And also, you just talk about, if you talk about what you know, it won't be a problem. If I start talking about things I don't know and start doing some jokes, and then somebody calls me out and I get no backup, you got to talk about what you know. Okay? So, I know about women's softball. My mother was president of women's softball for 25 years. I can talk about it. I know why I'm a 6-time Boston Comedy co-ed softball champion. A 6-time. Some people go, why, you're a 1-time Boston Comedy co-ed softball champion? I'm a 6-time Boston Comedy. They made me sit out. And it could be because my mother's a phenomenal softball player or my dad. Or it could just be that I know that all the athletes that are in this co-ed softball team are not athletes. So just hit the cutoff, man. And
there you go. There you go.
Good advice.
6-time Boston Comedy co-ed softball champion.
Not one. 6.
No. 6. On 2 separate teams. And they made me sit out a year to play in the last place team when they traded me. It was awesome.
Oh, there you go.
People still don't like me for that.
Making lemonade out of lemons. Why do people not like you, Dave?
Well, that's going to be the name of my first book when I decide to read one and write one. It's going to be Why I'm a Champion and Why You Don't Like Me. Why I'm a champion and why you don't like me. Oh yeah, and I never realized it. I didn't until I got older, because when I was a younger kid and I was an overachiever. I was a little kid, so whenever I did something that it was noticed. When I was on the football team and I weighed 50 pounds and everybody else weighed 80 pounds, now it might not sound a lot to you, but that's more than half my weight.
That's right.
And so when I'm running around, I'm scoring touchdowns, being the great one, people notice that stuff. So what the hell was the question again? Pot is legal in America and it's early, and I forgot that what we were talking about. I haven't finished my first cup of coffee.
Oh, there we go. So you're talking about life experiences in sport, because the show is about health and wellness a lot in sport and athletes, and have athletes on. So do you think that sports are I know we talked about this before, but do you think sports are your biggest experiences that have shaped your life and your comedy in general, or do
Well,
you think it's combo?
It's things that you maintain that just stick with you as a kid. I remember the first, I'm sure other coaches have maybe used this approach, but I remember, and you notice this, I remember the coach saying the first day of practice, 40 of you in the room. By the end of the season, there's going to be 20 of you.
Right.
Who are the 20 champions? Like challenging us. Who's going to suck
Right.
it up and make it there? And I also remember my wrestling coach, Coach John LaPresse, and I didn't know at the time, he was just becoming sober. He was like 28, 29, 30 years old when he was my coach. He was just becoming sober. And I remember him saying, and I'm closing my eyes because I'm trying to paraphrase. If you can make it through one season in wrestling, right? If you can make it through one season in wrestling, you will be able to get over any difficulties in life, like anything, any issues that you have. And I'll tell you something, man, true. And I fall back on the mental toughness and hey, you've done this before, you've been here before. When it comes to, other big stuff, you have to go, hey, this person's been there, they've been there, you got empathy. I don't know, just the whole mental game has really helped me in life in general. When I get punched in the face, I'm like, all right, I've been punched in the face before. Like that's the whole thing with the younger generation. Oh, it happened. What, you haven't been kicked to the curb 97 god darn times? I have no problem walking up to a woman going, hey, are you involved with anyone? Because you know what? I've been said no to 1,000 times. What's 1,001? You know what I mean? You do it from over 200 yards, so they can't say anything. And
The
that's
football
right.
field. Well, I think that the mental
Two football
toughness.
fields.
Two football fields. I think that the mental toughness piece is important when we're talking about just in general life and putting it out there. Just whatever you do for a living or whatever you're doing in life, but the mental toughness, and you talk about younger generation. I'm dealing with a lot of kids right now that I see, anywhere from 12 to 18 years old. Very different generational stuff than when we grew up around mental toughness. So, and I know you work with kids. How do you, I know you do a lot of youth inspiration. How do you bring your mental toughness, given the generation stuff that we see now that's very different in terms of sucking it up, like you and I were laughing before we started with, like suck it up, be on point.
I called you a name that would not have been socially acceptable.
You did.
That would not have. See, by the way, let's preface it by I'm excited. It's a new day. Today's a new day. I'm psyched to be with you. And you're like, oh, I'm having congestion. And I was like, listen, I don't want to hear any of that crap. Let's go. Suck it up like a professional. Now that's how I dealt with you. But if you were a younger person, a person in a different age demographic,
Thank you.
Yes.
or a person in a lower tax bracket, we'll go that route. Okay, if you were that person, I would have said, we only really have to do this podcast about 45 minutes right now. Let's see if we can maybe. What do you think? Can we maybe just put aside what's going on in the day? You know what I mean? That's how I would approach it.
Choking on my congestion. Thanks.
Yeah, I would have been a little more soft with you instead of saying
no. Don't do it.
No. I already forgot about that. I already got put on timeout for that.
I love that mental approach, and it's like it's another team sport thing. It's like just set it aside. We're in the field right now. Set everything else aside.
Well, you have to put. Well, that's why it's called your daily game face. I have to be when we're on. We're on.
Yeah.
You asked me about how I approach the younger generation.
Yes.
The younger generation right now. I've only like done some speeches at like my friend's daughter's hockey games or a couple wrestling games. I've done some speeches beforehand. And the one thing that, this is the one thing I tell people. I say, listen, for instance, let's say the wrestling match is 6 minutes. Okay, 6 minutes just went by 6 minutes ago, and time never stops. Right. That match it's going to come to an end, and you're going to be so exhausted. And the guy you're wrestling against or the person you're wrestling against is going to be so exhausted. So in that 6 minutes, you got to talk to yourself and say, he's just as tired as I am. Push him now. Let him know. Become a big bear. Like if a big black bear approaches you, you go, Rah! Let that kid know right there. Because at that 6 minutes, because time never stops, it's going to suck when you lose. It's so much better when you're tired. You go, I won. I won. Well, when I lost, I'm a loser. I did all that. I just worked so hard. I want to punch myself in the face like De Niro. I want to punch myself in the face for being so horrible. So, nobody. I don't care. I don't care what they're teaching these kids inherently. You see a little kid when they're playing, they don't like to lose. Nobody wants to
likes
lose.
to lose.
Nobody likes to lose. So you just got to approach and share how fun it is to win.
So what do you say? And we briefly touched on this in our last podcast, but we didn't get into it enough. But I think it's worthy because you and I've had conversations about this. What do you think about the approach of everybody gets a trophy?
Yeah, we did talk about that. Yep. I think last time I'm gonna change a little bit of what I said because, and hopefully this makes sense to you. I think anyone who makes it through the season, there's not a problem with that guy getting a trophy. And I got to tell you something. Yeah. And I experienced it because somehow, I was always a better than average player on my team.
Yes.
But then when I got older in life, I was on a couple of teams where I wasn't the best. And I had to mentally suck it up and go bowling every goddamn week when I hated it. You know what I mean? Yeah. And now I love it because I got better at it. Right. When I wasn't good, I was like this. I don't want to be here. I'm not the best at it. Back to the mental game. Well, right. You better get better. You better improve last night's game from this game. So my approach is, if you make it through that season, you got to get some type of. That's an achievement in itself.
Yes.
Do I think we should sit there at an award ceremony and have 400 kids get a trophy? No. Honorable mention. Yeah. Hey, the kids on this team made it. Group picture, group photo, give them one at the end. Everyone gets a team one. But if you think kids don't know what the score is when they're at a soccer game or when they're saying they're not keeping score, then those kids went to Malden Public High School. I'm teasing. Malden's got great schools. I just had to make fun of. I had to make fun of public school. Exactly. No, I love the 02148. Is where I got my best coaches. Coach Charlie Russell, Coach Works, my dad, Coach Sullivan, LaPresti, O'Boyle, all of them. I mean, great coaches. Yeah.
Well, coaches make I think coaches make a big difference. And even now, and I still see it, coaches make such a big difference in long-term life journey when people are adults. If people do not have good coaches, or if people haven't had the exposure of kind of being in a group sport or any kind of sport, but preferably group and organized sports, their adulthood is really a different course. And I see so much of it in my practice and see it with my patients, all the time, the difference in the generational gaps. And that's why I went back for the mental toughness. Mental toughness is so much different than, what Dave's talking about, what I usually talk about, because, you're in a group organized sport. You may not be the best one on the team, but you earned it to be there. You stayed in it. You were there. Yeah. But when you have, people that, 400 people and doing, I see 200 people on a track team and everybody gets a trophy, but 90% of them didn't run, but they still get the trophy and they didn't really do anything and they didn't have to show up to practice. That's when it's like a little different. And, or if it gets too hard, I see this a lot too. If it gets too hard and they can see that, well, I have to win, but I didn't win. And then they quit because they didn't win. There's a difference in when I was growing up, because it's not that same mental toughness. And I try to encourage my athletes that if we don't win, it doesn't matter. It's about, what did you get out of it? It's not the outcome goal of the win. It's what's your journey? How do you build the next thing? Because it's going to lifelong goal you forever for this. This is like something that's going to go forever. And people don't get that. And even parents sometimes don't see that. They're like, well, why bother if you're not going to win? Like, no, it's the journey. It's the process.
My favorite version of the famous meme is, some of y'all have never played team sports and it shows. And it's such a great lesson.
In the entertainment industry, I like to say this to people, dude, act like you scored a touchdown before, because you're like, there's only one way to go now. Now that you're up, you're going to come down. Like, it's, that whole sports thing, you have to bite your tongue a lot of times. You have to do it with grace. You have to lose with grace. You have to win with grace.
You have to sacrifice for others, which is a huge part of just being a human.
Well, that's where the individual sport and the team sport is
divergence.
Because at one point I started off as a team sport. I was the worst person on the team, but we won the championship, and I felt like part of the team. And I say that because 40 years later, that same group of guys, us, when we were 10 years old, we still meet at the Kowloon once a year. And, now we drink alcohol and not fruit punch, or Gatorade, we're not going to, yeah. So, sports right now with the younger kids, I believe they're probably more talented than we are athletically. I think they're bigger, stronger, faster. They're like the $6 million man from 1976 and the $6 million woman. Her name was Leslie, I think. What was her name? Remember
Lindsay.
Her? Lindsay. Oh, I'm a professional.
Lindsay.
So, Lindsay Wagner. Boom. Lindsay Wagner.
You got it.
Yep, got it. So, I kind of feel as though if parenting gets too much involved and doesn't let the coach and let the kids grow, you got to grow naturally. If you want your kid to be a champion at 10 years old, that's fine. But expect the kid to lose. In life, I've learned so much from losing,
Yes.
And so it's made me a winner. And it's also taught me how to lose properly.
Right. Because failure, and people think it's so cliche, but losing and being a failure or having a fail is an opportunity. It really is for the next best thing to come along, because people just don't do well or do as well, I don't think, without those losses.
Oh, man. Let me tell you something.
I've been crushed over and over and over again. And every time I get crushed, it's like you, Dave. It's like, how do I get to I'll show you. It's like, I'll show you, because you think I get crushed this time, I'm going to come back even stronger next time. And I'm going to make sure it crushes, because it's that mindset. And it's got that inspiration behind it. It's got that energy. It's got the motivation behind it, because I'm like, I just want to, instead of being like, oh, I lost, I'm going to move on to something else.
I can tell you. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Dave hit on something very important with the coach thing too,
Yes.
especially in parenting today,
Yes.
because kids aren't taught to accomplish and be a part of anything outside of their family unit. They're so sheltered at this point.
A lot of times,
and
yeah.
they're enabled at this point. Getting in front of
They have a family, they're lucky.
Yeah. Well, getting in front of a coach and winning his approval and doing what he wants you to do, and gaining respect that way is such an important lesson for kids.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Go ahead, Dave. What were you going to say?
I just know that in life it works out better when you have a team. You don't have to have a large team, but you do have to have support around you, whether you're a 10-year-old kid. And decisions that you make don't always they might not always be the right decision. Just one might be just a little better than the other one.
Well, so I like in the team thing, and I use this a lot for metaphors when I'm with clients, even adults or kids, is teams and families are similar. Like if you have a family life that is, dysfunctional, and you have a family life like that, and you can find a team that's not dysfunctional, it helps you in your family life, or vice versa. There's so much.
What family isn't dysfunctional?
Well, all families. No, but
but it's a great point.
Everybody's dysfunctional. And now it's like, okay, now you go to a team and everyone needs connection. And are you finding more connection? Look how many kids' lives are saved by being in team sports, because their family life is so dysfunctional.
Oh, yeah.
And their coach or their teammate or the personal trainer or the athletic person, and they have somehow touched that kid's life and has changed it. And that's the thing that gives them, I call it the yummies. It gives them that yummy in their soul to keep them going and stable when their life at home is maybe a shit show. Yep.
Well, I tell you, I'm trying to straighten up my my laptop here so I can.
You're perfect.
I want to have the great one back there.
He is back there. 99.
I don't want that light. This little light over here.
You're good.
You're
good.
fine. Look at the light behind my head on my. I don't know what Lou did today, but it's there.
It's there less. I actually turned it down.
So he turned it down today. So you're looking marvelous. Your kitchen's looking very clean.
That's what I do. What do I have there? Anything you see? Anything that's not legal? Everything.
Nope, it's all good.
Hello.
By the way, I'm a Bobby Orr baby, so that great one with Gretzky just annoys the hell out of me.
Well, hold on a second. So you know what used to go there? The original one's Bobby Orr, which is in my other room.
There you go.
And
he was
somehow, yeah, but I didn't want it to be all about Bobby Orr. I figured I could show that I can still like someone from New York.
Yeah.
Being from Boston. But the Bruins, you know what? Give me 1 second.
Oh, God.
I got him.
You
started.
you've got it started. We're going to have show and tell now. So if you're not watching the show, you need to watch the show because Dave has left the room.
This whole team sports thing, it's such an important component that's just falling by the wayside.
Well, it's because it's that's why I was saying it's the metaphor of family. Okay, yep, here it comes. Oh, here we go.
Broke.
Oh no, he needs to get it restrung.
Bobby Orr.
Oh,
There you go.
Oh,
he needs to get it reframed.
he needs, Dave, your Bobby Orr needs some work. Dave, your Bobby Orr needs to be rehung and restrung and
right. The whole in the middle of the night, the ghost in my house was like, you know what? And then next thing you know, so yeah, Bobby was in my kitchen. I got Rick Middleton over here. I got Ray Bork over there.
Yeah.
And then I have Gretzky in that room too.
Maybe a ghost is a Canadiens fan.
Well, I know he's not a Patriots fan this year.
True.
Listen to me. Remember, we are running for the Patriots.
As you pointed a couple weeks ago, the Patriots team and the Patriots charity are two different things.
Yes. Let me remind
you. How's that?
Oh, yes.
Steve Nelson.
There we go.
Now, Steve Nelson usually goes here.
Why? I want to ask. I was like, why?
I don't know what happened. I think what happened was I got lucky one night with a woman 20 years younger than me, and we rocked the house.
Oh, there we go.
And all the paintings fell down.
Wow.
I mean, I don't know. I gotta be honest. The freaking ghost. That one fell. Bobby Orr fell. So I'm gonna tell people that I had a great night and that I was ripping it up like a champion. I don't know.
There you go.
I love it. Oh my God.
That's why I'm called the Great One. Wait, the Great One.
There we go. I can live with that.
Oh my God. Okay.
I can't see.
I know. Neither can I. Go back to the team thing about the family, because when you were running around looking for your pictures, which is awesome, we were talking about how it's so important now about like the family metaphor of how teams really make up such an important part of that. Like even for you, I mean, I know your dad was your coach, and a lot of parents are their coaches for their kids, but like it's such an important piece of encouraging kids to be there because it's good for adulthood. Go ahead. My
dad ended up coaching because there were no other parents available to coach. When I look back, my dad worked 7 days a week at the produce market. He'd come home from work because he'd go in at 5 o'clock in the morning, be done by 2, 3, right in time for baseball practice, football practice. So he was kind of dawned, but he loved the sport too. So It was kind of a win-win,
Right.
But right now with the kids, you need good coaching, you need your parents, but with the TikTok and the videos, you can learn so much. I mean, just by scrolling through, I know how to throw a wicked punch right now. Just by watching TikTok videos of dudes like one push, it's right there. I mean, I don't get me wrong, I don't want to use it, but.
So you definitely didn't learn anything from watching the fight a few weeks back, huh?
No.
Oh, I did. I learned a new dance move.
Did you stay up to watch that fight, or did you go to bed?
You know what? I made an event out of it. How sad is this? So I went up to New Hampshire. My brother's 2 boys. We were taking them to the Bruins games. One's 11, one's 7. I might be wrong on that. It could be 12 and 8. I don't know. The pandemic messed me up. So Gab and Lennon, I went up to go to New Hampshire to hang out with those kids and watch the fight. Because they know who the Paul kids, they know who Jake Paul is. They're young, they know who he is, and I know who Mike Tyson is. And I'm like, and I was telling people, this is what I was telling people. You ready? This is what I learned about that fight. Oh my God, good question. All right.
Thanks.
So I was telling people, I won the gold medal when I was 27 years old for wrestling. I came out of retirement and I won it. All right. But my 37-year-old self would have beat the shit out of my 27-year-old self.
Yeah.
And you know what? My 47-year-old self would have beat the crap out of my 30s. And I was telling people this. I'm going, so it's got to be like the 55-year-old guy will beat up the 45-year-old guy. But you know what I learned? No.
No.
I'm 54 and a half right now. And I'm like, I think my 48-year-old self would have kicked my ass right now. I think he would have elbowed me in the face. Did my eye. I think he would have beat me up professionally, and I would have been like, all right, my bad. All right, you got me. I would have had to call uncle or something like that to myself. Yeah. So right now I got one more left in me, but that's because I'm going to be holding a gun in my hand if someone comes at me. No, I'm joking. Oh my God! Edit that out.
I know. Well, we can't. We're live, so we can't. So that will be.
Well, then I'm coming. You know why? You know why I just said that? How about this? I'm going to bed last night. Check this out. I'm going to bed last night. You can't make this up. Can you imagine? They have a gun that you can buy on the internet. There was like 60 left. I almost got one just to make it look so. It had rubber bullets and it shot like 10 or 15, but it looked like a real. I go, you know what's going to happen? They'll send me more real bullets. Like, yeah, it's fake, and I'll hurt myself. So.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Well, so that's why I don't have weapons, because I will. I can't even open up a can of tuna without cutting a fingernail.
Okay, so going back to sports, I wanted to ask you. So, do you use? Because I don't think I've actually heard
steroids. Never once. Never was into needles.
Good. That's good. No heroin. No heroin.
No,
that's good.
No.
That's awesome. I love that.
You know what the weird thing is? Can I tell you this? How literal my brain is. So I never took acid in college. My college buddies took acid, and you want to know why the way I didn't take it? Because of the name. I was like, acid. It just sounds like it'll burn you. Like it'll like acid. Like acid's bad, right? Yeah. Heroin. Just the name doesn't sound like you're not a hero. You're a heroine. I don't even know what that means, to be honest with you. So yeah, so I lucked out on certain things like that. I'll tell you one thing. I think I might tell you the needle story. Ever tell you the needle story?
I don't.
Why I never took a needle?
I don't know if you told it on air. I think I know the story, but please tell the story.
Do you think you know the story? All right. So I got an older sister. We're watching a soap opera because that's what you did at 2:30 in the afternoon when you got out of school. And it's like 1981 or something like that. And the elevator doors open.
General Hospital.
GH. So the doors open up, and the guy in the pretending he's a doctor stabs the girl in the gurney or whatever, and she dies. An air bubble to the vein.
Yes.
Okay. It dies instantly. So I'm like an 11-year-old kid. Oh my God, you can die that quick? So my entire life, I'm like, oh my God, why would people ever do heroin or anything like that? So now I got to get fast forward. This is 1981. I'm 11 years old. Fast forward, 45 years old. I have to start getting my cholesterol tested, right? I'm going like this. So during the pandemic at 50, I said to the nurse, I'm surprised more people, as I'm wrapped up, don't accidentally die from an air bubble. And she goes, you can't get an air bubble from this. This isn't intravenous. This is like a little. And so I was like, really? So for the past 40 years, every time I came in, I thought I could die. How fucking brave am I to think I should need a cape? All right, because I thought the whole time. But in hindsight,
of a pulmonary embolism from a shot.
Is that what it's called?
Well, you could get it. Yeah.
Well, I didn't know that. So now
I'm going to make it
basically. So I can tell you this. So I never did the needle. So that I lucked out there. And plus, in wrestling, you don't want to gain weight. You want to maintain weight. And steroids is always like a big thing.
Right.
But recently, because I ran the Pan Mass Challenge.
Yes.
I rode that.
Yes.
Well, my knee was bothering me after that. You know, because I didn't really practice. I just went and did 70 miles in one day. So.
That's what most people actually do on that. Mm-hmm.
I know. I feel like
you are not unique in that. People are like, I'm doing it. I'm raising money. And I'm going to go.
I did train 20 miles, and then some lady goes, "Oh, you trained?" I go, "Well, 25 miles this week, something like that." She goes, "Oh, we didn't do it at all last year." And I looked at them, and they were so gross and out of shape. Not to make people, not to judge, but I'm like, I'm way better at it.
Everybody.
Not to shame these people. I'm like, oh my God, if they can make it, I'm making this thing. Meanwhile, 20 miles in, I'm like, but the doctor gave me a cortisone shot in my knee.
Oh, how'd that go?
About 3 weeks ago, a month ago.
Yeah.
I was breakdancing again. I was doing windmills. I was like,
and you didn't have a panic attack with the shot?
No, because I had already learned that they can't. Because he actually called me that. Remember the name? You ready for this? The doctor said, Doc, he was cortisone shot, and then he pulled on it. I don't do the needles thing. I'm not. He said to me exactly what I said to you before the thing. Okay, to my doctor, you can't make it up. Oh my God, everything comes full circle.
Well, I love
true
that.
Story.
I love that doctor for saying.
Great doctor, and I took it. And my knee feels awesome.
Well, that's
so I'm a fan of whatever that thing you put in my knee.
So let's jump over because we haven't talked about the fact, at least on air, about the Pan Mass Challenge, and you did do it. So tell us about that. How much did you raise money for it too? Didn't you?
$6,000, I believe. Yeah,
awesome.
six. But the team, the Boston Bruins Foundation and the Boston Bruins alumni, Bowl of the Bruin, over $1 million.
Over $1 million. Yeah,
I was part of that $1 million group. I hope.
You were.
I hope I put him right over the top. You know what I mean?
With your $6,000.
With my $6,000. We need $6,000. Where's Russo?
And so what?
Well, let me. I did the third day. They do like 100 miles, right? And I didn't really understand the whole thing. I just knew that what ended up happening was I always liked bike riding. I always had something I could do, but I don't have bike shoes. I don't have bike pants. I don't have a bike. I just, as a little kid, I liked bike riding all the time. That's what I did. And I see people. So when I turned 54 on my birthday, I had a couple cocktails, and I said, I'm doing it. And then about a week before, I go, oh my God, I have to do that. so I took a big rip of the bong, and I went for a bike ride.
Oh my God! I'm sure
that
was
for medical purposes. I thought you were a doctor. You're not a hypocrite, are you?
It was for your knee.
Yeah. I smoked it like this.
Oh my God!
No, it was a joint. It was for my joint. I smoked a joint
for your joint. There we go. Joints. There we go. So you had a good time though, obviously doing the Pan Mass
I'll
challenge.
tell you what, I got addicted to it.
And you'll do it again.
I'm God willing. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I have the bike right over here, as a matter of fact, in my living room. Yep. And I went the last time I went riding, I was going for it. It was a little cold out, but then I had no air in the tires. So I was like, that's God saying, go back home. It's cold. So, but I've been playing hockey on Fridays with the police and the fire. I started last week, and I'm going to play this week. So that's 2 weeks in a row.
And is it a league that you're playing?
It is absolutely 100% just a pickup men's hockey game. It's every Friday for the past a decade, for as long as I know, that the Malden Police, Malden Fire, and some local guys that can get off during the day, entertainers maybe, and we play. It's just awesome. It's awesome.
So that's one of the things that people. So I mean, latitude here for this, because I try to get people in their 30s, 40s, 50s, especially 40s, 50s, 60s, to be doing things like this earlier in their life. When they come in, like doing a pickup game, going back to their sports that they were doing, and joining leagues, or even if it's bowling, because it's really good for one, camaraderie, connection, universal shared experience, and it's a protective factor for mental health, and people don't realize it. So I'm assuming Dave knows that, and Dave does it for part of that reason, right, Dave?
That's well, the 100% reason why I'm doing it is so that I don't punch myself in the face. No, it's to maintain the dopamine up here.
Yes.
I already know, and I tell people all the time, "Oh, you're depressed." Well, if you're doing shit, you're not going to be depressed. Go move, get off your butt. Let's go,
right.
Let's go. That's it's everything's mental health. Everything mental health. Yeah, it's mental health because everyone's got social media and they're scrolling, and this one's doing better than me, and oh my God, that she's wearing a white dress on her wedding, just the negative crap that you just see, Thank you. I have an older sister. I know that would hit a nerve with you. White on her wedding day.
So Dave, about mental health and comedians, we have talked about this again, you and I, but so there's lots of things that always get said about, they have the dark side of, I think the last time we talked, the dark side of comedians, all that. What do you say? Because I don't ever find you to be when I'm with you, I never find you to be that person, but there's so many people that they do the stories on about everybody's got these demons when they're in comedy and how come you're different?
I don't know if I mean, look at, I just found out, and I didn't know how I didn't know this, but a fellow comedian, I guess from what I understand, took his own life a couple of years ago.
Oh.
A young comedian. And I know he was a bright kid, too. He was a bright kid, good-looking kid. I think he had a family. There's been a few in our industry.
Yes.
And I want to say, I think it's difficult. It really is difficult to juggle a family and the mental stress of if you can't take no in this industry.
Right.
I mean, who was telling me? My buddy Chris, and I'm not going to do the names, but he's the guy he's been doing it 20 years from Quincy. He worked with the Farrelly brothers. He said, Rose, he's from Quincy. Rose, big dude. He's Rose. If we weren't mentally tough, where do you think we'd be in this business? I mean, Jesus, we were talking about this the other day. He's like, how much skin, how thick does our skin have to be? I go, Chris, let's go to the Bruins game and just have a blast. He's like, yeah, let's go. I mean, that's all it is. You know what I mean?
Right.
He's juggling family and a career. No. And then it just,
Right.
It seems like, and
laugh
you
at it
can
now.
address this. It seems like, and you can address it from two different sides of this. It always seemed to me like stand-up is kind of therapeutic. It's like I watch Bill Burr and I think that's what's inside my head half the time, and I can't say anything.
Bill Burr,
yeah.
Well, it's I am a little disappointed. I'm a little. So I branded myself as Boston comedian, but I always consider myself as more of an entertainer. Comedians are a different breed. Comedians, they want to push the envelope. They want to do the cutting edge. They want to do that point of view. Whereas an entertainer, I kind of want to make you laugh and smile and forget about the worries during the week.
Right.
I've tried doing the edgy stuff. I'm not. People do. Oh, Dave, you're so nice, and look at the joke you just did. You just kind of like, you know what I mean? I have jokes pop in my head about every issue you've ever talked to, and some people would be like, I'm not even political. If I say I like one person, not the other, you'll be oh my goodness, I didn't think. Oh my Dave, I'm like, oh, sorry, So people have an image of you, and then you have your image of yourself,
right?
And it is therapeutic, the comedy part, because now I'm using that myself to have the luxury, because so many people out there would love and they want to do stand-up and they think they're funny, and they probably are funny. Okay, but try being funny for 30 god darn years. Try being funny for 25 years consistently. And so now I go, okay, I'm not this particular, like the industry for me, some of the industry likes me. They like my persona, they like my image. They like my Bostonianness, but they might not like my brand of comedy.
Right.
I don't do a lot of. I mean, I grew up like these guys on Kill Tony. I watch them all. The Dice Man. I have so much material that's Dice-esque, as they would say.
Yes.
But it's going to turn off a good amount of my so-called audience. Although I got to tell you this.
Depends.
What's that?
I said it depends, right?
Well, no, but I've been learning this right now as I'm coming back into it and getting more back into enjoying the comedy a little bit. Because at one point you had to kind of tiptoe with the comedy a little bit because of the political correctness and stuff.
Yes.
And not that I was too worried about that, but I was more concerned with, people going out there to not have a good time just to look for that. If that's the case, I mean, you're coming to my work. When I come to work, I come to play.
Right.
So.
That's what you got to figure, right? That's another mental toughness piece. Is if you're going out, you've paid a ticket to go see someone, right? You know what you're walking into, and when people get offended, it's like, why did you buy the ticket? I see people get heckled on stage, and I'm like,
it's very New York-esque. It's very New York-esque. I don't see it much around here as much. I got heckled once, some guy, and he was just having fun. He called me a guinea. He said he called me, and I was like, he's like, you heard me again. I was like, no, I didn't hear you. And I remember I have it on videotape. I remember going, all right, I guess that's what happens when you mix alcohol with a GED, and it is what it is. But that guy wasn't trying. Put it this way: if the tides would turn, I could be like, oh my God, I'm offended. You called me a slur. The guy was having a good time with the audience, with his friends.
Right.
Goofing around.
Right.
And now he's going to lose his job because I out him and call him a racist or something like that. Right. I mean, he was just.
Exactly.
So that's why But right now, back to the comedy stuff. Yes. It's definitely more fun now. I do know that tomorrow, if I'm going to plug this, Thursday, December 12th, is my 13th year of Globe Santa. Oh. So it's almost sold out, but it's through the Boston Globe. And so I was going to wear all red, because it's Christmas time.
Yes.
But I think they might associate that with Make America Great Again. And it's for the Boston Globe. But as a comedian,
I think you should wear.
As a comedian, I thought it was hilarious. If I wear a Make America Great, no, it's red. It's the only red stuff I had.
Oh my God! There you go.
No. I could never do that. But that's the whole thing. We could goof around right now with that if they knew it was just a joke. But whereas before people took it seriously. I mean, it was bad. At one point, if you said the name Trump in comedy, you were like, oh.
Yeah.
No. Meanwhile, Meanwhile, in 2016, I'm interviewing Ivanka Trump at my family's winery in New Hampshire, and I end up in the Boston Globe behind her, the Secret Service and me. It makes it look like I'm looking like at her ass. But I'm getting out of it's a great picture. I'm getting out of the way, and I post. I go, I'm looking at the Secret Service member's pistol. I'm not looking at her buttocks, But I just thought that was kind of, I had the opportunity to go on her bus and to meet her and her brother, and I had already met Donald years ago. So I thought as a comedian, I go, yeah, I'm doing well, and my friends don't associate with those. I go, dude, I'm doing a bit. What do you mean? What's going on here? People got real weird with that stuff. Yeah. And I'm like, man, wasn't he just on Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon? Wasn't he just on The View? Wasn't this guy just on Oprah?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So now I can't joke about his family. What am I missing? So that took a weird turn. I'm glad. And I kind of think things are a little, well, half the country, like I mentioned at the beginning, things are getting back on track a little better.
So speaking of challenges, what do you think is the most challenging aspect of doing your entertainment?
Stand-up comedy?
Well, or entertainment, or both.
Okay. I'll tell you what it is. So because you're on TikTok every day, you're getting instant gratification. Stick up. And then you can do this. And then put it down.
Mm-hmm.
And then do your thing. Mm-hmm. When you come to a comedy show, some people, they're just sitting there. Oh, you're not like on TV. No, this is live.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's just, if we can engage you, you'll be fine. We'll be fine.
Right. That's one of the biggest things. I mean, not to bring up the hottest comic ever, Matt Rife. Just saying. Matty, right?
Hottest in what way?
He's hot to look at. I mean,
that's what I was wondering.
Right. So hottest and
he's in a new movie.
Good.
Are you a fan? He's in a new movie,
I saw that. And
he's Be Funny. I think it's called Be Funny.
Bleach blonde now, which I'm not sure if I like or not, but everyone.
I don't like it. He's living in Rhode Island,
I did know that. Yes, but
I happen to like the kid. I think he's actually very brave because he went on that show with Nick Cannon.
Yes.
And I was kind of a hip hop comic coming up, but that show scares me. That show would scare me. And he used to kick ass on that show.
He did. You know what show we're talking about, yep. Lou? Right? Well, Matt got, he gets, because he started his thing on social media, and he has mental health issues that he talks about, and he has anxiety and depression, and he talks about that and has no problem. But when people have gone to his live show, which I haven't been to yet, people always talk about how it's not the same as social media. Well, yeah, because you're watching these 10-minute clips.
When you say so now this is back to America. Back to America. You ready?
Yes.
You ready, people? Back to America.
Okay, back to America.
The Tonight Show, Johnny Carson, Letterman, all those guys. People worked their lives to do 7 minutes to have a great set. That 7 minutes was tight and great. And then you got people like John, these TikTok and these shows like Chris D'Elia, I think his name was, and every other word is the F word, the F word, the F word, the F word, the F word. No training, no tightness, no, just spurring out anything, what they think, what they feel, and throwing shit against the wall. And some of it will be funny, but it's not tailored.
Right.
It's not carved. It's not precise. And that's right now what he's giving you and what the young kids are giving you. They're giving you this 7 minutes of greatest hits.
Right.
And then you go see them, and it's all the shit leading up to this 7 minutes.
Right. And then people get disappointed in it.
Right. So. He's been doing comedy 10 years. He should have 35, 40 minutes, I'm sure.
Right.
I'm sure he does fine. I'm sure he does. He's got a can to the girls like him. The yummy mummies like him. The little girls like him. He's got a can. The gay guys like him. So he nailed whatever he did. He nailed it. I'm sure a buddy of mine said in the locker room one time, he goes, I went to your show. He goes, you didn't curse once. You were clean. He goes, you were hilarious, but it wasn't anything that I expected out of you.
Right.
And I said, yeah, I get that persona because I got the scally cap and the whole thing. It doesn't mean I'm not educated.
Well, yeah, but you typically
have couth.
You have couth. You definitely do. Because you don't.
I'm guessing both of you saw Matt's crowd work special.
Yes, I did see his.
I did not.
Yes, I did.
And it was interesting because it's what you're talking about, the difference between being carved up on TikTok and social media and then doing it for an hour and a half.
Right.
And it had a different tone to it. I like him, so I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I like that, so I enjoy it. So, but he gets
But
nailed
it's different
for it.
When it's carved up on social media.
Right. Exactly.
Well, let's do this again though. Let's back up a second though.
Yeah.
let's back up 1 second. Matt Rife's a little different though. He has still been cutting his teeth, I want to say, for over 15 years anyways.
Yes.
So it's not like he's an overnight thing. So he's got, like I said, if he's doing a college, which is probably right up his forte, and the young girls stuff, I'm sure he can do 45 minutes without the crowd work. The crowd work, look at, you know what? He's not the first person to think about doing that. I mean, but he did it. Other people have said, yeah, why don't you do crowd? This way you're not eating up your material. And that's what he did.
Right.
He put his crowd work and not witness his rub. Now people are like, no, we like you for your crowd work. Your written material kind of sucks.
Right.
And that's basically every effing comedian out there, except for like Bill Burr, and you got Chappelle, because their stuff, but they carve their shit. They have, dude, they got 35 years on their belt. Their shit's carved.
Right.
Okay. Anyways, how's that? Am I allowed to curse on this?
You are allowed to curse, except for that one word I told you no on.
Do you not like that word?
Well, I don't mind the word as long as we're not on air because my listeners don't like that word.
Oh, do they even know what word it is? No,
yes.
Right?
Yes, because I actually had a couple people ask me if you were going to say the word before we started the show this week.
Really?
No, yeah.
Why would I ever say that word? And then I said it?
No.
Oh, no.
No. Anyway,
let's recap. DaveRusso.net, not.com.
So I have a question for you. Okay. If you had a comic superpower, what would it be?
Okay.
I love it.
It's just the ability to follow any comic.
Oh.
Yeah, Chappelle just came on. Now Russo's got to go on after him. And I have the superpower to be able to follow that guy. How's that sound?
That's, yeah.
I'll go next.
Yeah. And that was going to be a follow-up. Oh, and if you could create I was thinking about this because you have good mental toughness. If you could create a comedy special in any specific time period that you could pick, what would it be?
The original thing that came to mind was the movie The Wanderers with Ken Wall.
Uh-huh.
Don't F with the Wongs, the Baldies. I think I'm a 50s, 60s guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I would have had fun with that. That era, I think I would have had fun with, yeah.
So do you do any of that in your stuff?
No,
now?
I just think that if I was in the 50s and 60s, because I'm kind of like a little bit of a hip hoppy, I'm a little bit of a dancery, a little physical comedy.
Yeah.
And I think I would have done well in physical comedy. That's all in that genre.
Awesome.
Like Dick Van Dyke.
Yes.
Like back in the day, he's still unbelievable. Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
Like those physical. I like physical, and I do a little bit of physical. I do a little dance, a little singing, stuff like that. So I enjoy a little bit of physical comedy. Slow motion.
I know you like the slow motion. So, let's go to your charity work now. So what charity work are you working on currently that you are involved in? We Know the Bruins.
So the Globe Santa, my annual thing.
Yes.
Globe Santa.
And can people still get to do that tomorrow? How do they?
Yeah, it's close to being sold out. Giggles Comedy. I think it's Boston Globe events. BostonGlobe.com/events.
Okay.
Just my Facebook page. It's all over the place. There's a link to click it. I know it sells out every year.
Yep.
That's a great one. The big thing that I love doing, I'll tell you what. So this Thursday, I'm sorry. Jesus, the Thursday's the 12th?
Tomorrow.
So Friday the 13th?
Yep.
Oh, Jesus. Friday the 13th is the 13th?
It is Friday the 13th.
Okay, so Friday the 13th through the 15th.
Yes.
I'm going to be at Focino Vineyard. It's winter weekend.
Oh.
At Focino Vineyard in Hollis, New Hampshire. So that's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'm going to be up there Friday night. I don't know if I can, but they got the wine, the cheese. They got Christmas Santa's going to be there. They got the igloos.
Oh,
it's a winter wonderland. It's Disney World for adults, but you can bring your kids.
Right. So if anyone has never been up to Falcino's, people should go because it's a beautiful vineyard. It's a beautiful venue and it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
People always ask me where it is, and I go, all right, pay attention for 1 second. It is a taste of Italy.
Yes.
1 hour north of Boston, next to Nashua. So it's Route 3.
Yes.
So you go Route 3, exit 6. You're in Hollis, New Hampshire. And it's wine. It's awesome. They have food now, pizza, sandwiches.
That's
So,
nice.
they nailed it. Focino Vineyard.
And can people just show up for that, Dave, or do people have to?
You want to go? You know what? They have tickets because they're doing like 3 different time slots.
Oh wow!
It's legit. It's legit. It's people come from all over this thing.
So it's like going to the ice castles up in Lincoln.
It's quickly becoming. It's definitely, that's a great analogy. It's definitely becoming a destination place during the holidays for people. And if it snows, it's unbelievable. But he's got the igloos there. He's got the big Santas, the big Rudolphs. Santa Claus comes, Mrs. Claus, a couple of her reindeer. I don't know. A couple of her helpers. I don't know.
Some of the elves.
Oh, yeah. Me and my friends. Me and my buddies.
So, okay. So, and what else? Anything else in December coming up or anything that people should?
New Year's Eve. New Year's Eve, I am at the is it the Radisson Hilton in Danvers? Is that what it's called?
Yep. Yes.
I think so. Yeah, I'm there. That's the number one. I got the number one New Year's Eve event in America.
There you go.
It's in Danvers because, first of all, you stay in the hotel.
Yeah.
They got indoor pool in the hotel. They got bars in the hotel. They have breakfast, food, dinner. We have a band. We do karaoke. We have a stand-up comedy show. We do dance, and I'm sure there'll be some other activities going around. Adult activities, maybe poker game, maybe just poker.
There you go. And people have to they can go online, I'm assuming, to that to get tickets for that as well, because people are always looking for things to do, which is a safer thing to do because then you're not out driving.
Well, that's the whole thing. That's what I'm saying. We do on New Year's Eve, the coolest thing, like I said, Dave Russo's got the coolest number one through CPF Productions. It's the best on New Year's Eve. We've been doing it for years. Everyone gets to hotel rooms because all night we eat, we drink, we dance, we have fun. The next day, we brunch. I think a Celtics game is on, if I'm not mistaken, or a Bruins game. We go to the Green Dragon. Now we have Chinese food. Now we're gambling on Keno. Now we're taking Ubers. Now we're taking Lyfts. Now it's Tuesday. January 4th. We're back to the hotel. They're giving us a better rate for the rooms, okay? And we're like, listen, screw this weather. Let's go to Florida. So we go to Florida. We're in Orlando. We're at Disney World. We're like, listen, I want to go into Small World afterwards. I've been all around the world. Well, I've been to Epcot Center. All right, anyways.
But you are, by the way, speaking of Florida, you do have shows coming up in Florida too, I know, right?
No, I'm going to Florida.
Oh,
I'm going to Florida. I'm taking a vacation.
Oh, you're vacation.
I'm taking a little mini trip to Disney World.
Wow, so you really are going to go all around the world.
Yes. I'm going to be alone.
Around Epcot.
That's the joke. I've been all around the world. Well, I've been to Epcot. So. Yeah, no, I'm going to go. I'm going out there for a few days, leaving on Monday. Looking forward to it. And then the new year, starting off the new year, we'll be doing. We have great shows coming up at Wamisit Lanes. We have that's Valentine's. We got Paul Gilligan, and we got Kelly McFarland coming to that. And at Focino Vineyard, we got Steve Sweeney, and Stacy Kendall. So Focino Vineyard, Wamisit Lanes, and the Princess Station. Those are our gigs.
The most important gig you're doing.
Oh yeah, that's February 2nd. February 2nd, right? Are we doing the Sunday?
Yes,
we're doing Sunday.
Sunday, February 2nd. Yes, because if you change it on me one more time, I'm going to probably kaplots.
No, because where am I the first? Oh, I'm going to the Bruins game. That's right. So I'm going to the Bruins get my college. Right. Versus New York, as a matter of fact.
Yes.
We're going to the New York game, February 1. My friend Rich McHale, his boys, myself. Yeah, that's going to be a night. So February. What time is the show on Sunday the 2nd?
February 2nd. You are coming to my show in Burlington at Jack's at 4:45 because you have another show in Nashua at 6.
I do.
I'm like his personal assistant.
Is it in Nashua?
I don't know. It's in New Hampshire. No, it's in Haverhill. I don't know. I can't remember.
It's in North Andover. Wicked Funny.
North Andover.
Yeah, Wicked Funny Comedy Club.
So at 4:45 ish or 4:30 ish on the 2nd, we've got Dave Russo coming to do my event, which is going to be for the New England Patriots Foundation, not to be confused with the Patriots team that everyone's picking on this year.
Hold on a second.
Yes.
Once again, the Matrix has happened. The irony. This morning, before I went live, I posted the Tom Brady commercial I was on with him.
Oh, did you really?
Did you know I was on a Roger That commercial with Tom Brady?
I did know that.
So I posted that today. And we'll raise a ton of money for you, but we still love the Patriots. I was just teasing the Patriots. And the Patriots Foundation The Patriots Foundation is unbelievable. Isn't that what Mr. Kraft? Is Mr. Kraft involved with that? Or was that his son?
Yes. So we raise. That's the biggest thing that the Kraft Foundation does is the New England Patriots Foundation does. And so this is my 6th year running for them, 11th year running the Boston Marathon in a row consecutively. Awesome. Even though I had a gallbladder issue this year, it put me on my ass. But I raise anywhere from $10,000 to $20,000 every year. I'm hoping to obviously raise that for it. And but Dave is going to be my headliner. He's going to come and do a lovely set. And so
I'm going to talk about the commercial with Tom Brady when I'm looking down. I'm on the iPad. I'm on the iPad. I'm looking at Giselle, and I look up. Oh, it's Tom. And,
if you guys want to, I'm going to put my link to donate right now is actually on the side, but I will be sending out all the information for everybody so that you can come see Dave and you can come get Tito's is my sponsor this year. Tito's is sponsoring a special drink. You guys can come and we have giveaways and we have Celtics tickets and we have all kinds of stuff. And Jax is putting it on for me. And I'm excited to have that going on. So you can come see Dave live and Dave will be able to do my favorite impression that he does, which is Robert De Niro. And here it comes.
If you're watching De Niro.
I love it. There he is.
Wait a minute.
Kills me every time. This is my favorite Dave.
I'm going to punch you in the face. If you don't go Sunday, February 2nd, I'm going to punch you in the face. All right. Oof. Happy babies.
So if you can't see it, you've got to watch what he just did because it was so good. But yes, I will be putting that out there. So last words before we have to jump, Dave. Inspired words for the youth and for young adults coming into the world of just being good people. What would you give for advice in general?
You know what? It's quite simple. Narrow down whatever game you're playing. Play every shift like it's your last shift. If you're on a hockey team and you're on 3 shifts in the first period, 3 shifts in the second period, 3 shifts in the third period, 9 shifts. Just take 1 shift at a time. Make it the greatest shift you've ever had in your life, your first shift. Now the greatest shift you ever had, your second lap, third. Now, boom, now your third done. That's just good. Just talk to yourself mentally and be a champion at all times. And throw it out there. I say throw it out there in the universe, too. Every day I say, all right, you're a champion. You're going to be great today. You're going to be better than you were yesterday. I don't understand why my family hasn't tried to give me an award for greatness this past couple of years of my life, but I just have fun with it.
But it's true. I think so. Go every day with, and despite our little funny thing at the beginning that no one could hear, but yes, live every day, start every day with.
But throw it out there. Do you guys throw it? I really firm believer that if you put it out there in the universe, like if you start saying, "Oh, this sucks," guess what? No. It's gonna suck.
Right. So you have
today's gonna be great.
Yeah, you have to live with the intention every day of having a great day and having outstanding, despite whatever's going on. You have to say, "Hey, this is what I'm going to live with today," so you don't have a moment of yuck.
And if you do, suck it up.
That's right, Buttercup.
Yeah.
Exactly. So any other words of wisdom, Dave?
Always wear sunscreen, and you know what? This is a huge one for the young generation out there. Yes. We all want to get drunk and we all want to have fun. Ladies, gentlemen, I don't care if you're a guy or a girl, you got to eat before you go out drinking. The best advice you're ever going to have, even if it's a panadossi bread roll, which I think I'm going to do a commercial before you get hammered tonight. Have some panadossi bread. You know what I mean? It'll be a great commercial. Yes, you got to eat before you drink because that's how shit happens.
Yes.
And if you never do a bad thing once, you'll never do it twice. Boom. There you go.
I love that. Excellent. Yep. So, all right, you guys, everyone go out there and try to see Dave live because he's awesome and he's a great person, and support all of his foundations, and we will certainly put up links for that as well. And obviously, please go to my donation page as well because I'm trying to raise money to run, and I will be putting up stuff for seeing him, Dave Russo, on February 2nd. Dave, thank you so much for being with us. Mwah!
My pleasure. My pleasure.
Thank
all right,
you.
Merry Christmas if I don't see you guys, but because I'll see you. Yeah. Well, if I don't see you, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Kwanzaa, all the good stuff.
Yes, you too. Thank you so much. Okay.
You got to give. See you guys.